Cost of Capital, Chapter 11. Chapter outline includes cost of capital and its importance, discount rates used to analyze investments, valuation application of bonds, preferred stock, and common stock, minimum cost of capital, and increase in cost of capital with increase in utilization of finances. Cost of capital. In corporate finance, an investment made is for an anticipated return in the future. Knowing the appropriate discount rate is vital. Cost of acquiring the funds, and earning at least a return equaling the cost incurred to acquire at the minimum acceptable return. In other words, you do these calculations because it's all about what's called ROI, or return on investment. That has to equal a certain amount of your return in order for it to be applicable to do whatever project that you're looking to do. And this process helps us to determine that. An investment should not be judged against the specific means of financing used to implement it. This would make investment selection decisions inconsistent. The low-cost debt must be chosen carefully. It may result in increase of the overall risk and may make all eventual forms of financing more expensive. The overall concept is judging the amount of debt and cost of equity regarding, is this project worth our time? Determination of cost of capital is best understood by capital structure of a firm. The after-tax costs of the individual sources of financing are multiplied by the weights assigned to them. Some of all these give the weight average cost of what we're looking to accomplish. And below you can see an example of the average cost of everything. Cost of debt is measured by interest rate or yield paid to bondholders. Example is $1,000 bond paying $100 annual interest or a 10% yield. Calculation is complex if a bond is priced at a discount or premium from par value or face value. Determine the cost of new debt in the marketplace. The firm will compute the yield on its currently outstanding debt. All you will need to know for class purposes and for the case study coming next week is we will simply use the interest rate on the long-term debt that this particular company has. It could be on a bond, or it could be on just the interest rate of a bank loan. Capital asset pricing model, also called CAPM, where the equaled return on common stock equals the risk-free rate return, usually the current rate on a treasury bill of security. Beta is the coefficient measures the historical volatility of individual stocks' return relative to a stock market index. I was confused there for a second. I apologize. There are the variables that you need to know for that, where KJ is required return on common stock, RF is the risk-free rate, B is your beta coefficient, measures historical volatility of an individual stock, KM, return in the market, is measured by an approximate index. For these particular values, we'll go over that in an example in the case study for next week, but just jot that formula down. It could be valuable in weeks to come. And you can see the example below there showing that as how it's calculated. Optimal capital structure is weighing the costs, the desire to achieve a minimum overall cost of capital. Calculated decisions are required on the appropriate weights for debt and equity. Capital mix is determined by considering the present capital structure and ascertaining if the current position is optimal. Optimal capital structure continued shows the assessment of different plans. Firm is able to initially reduce weighted average cost of capital with debt financing. Beyond Plan B, continued use of debt becomes unattractive and greatly increases cost of sources of financing. See the different weights and the cost of after tax calculated there for Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C. See the cost of capital curve here. The cost of equity going up, the weighted average cost of capital follows in suit, and then the cost of debt, minimum point for cost of capital shown here based off of the value of each of these lines here. It's the end of part 1.